Chairwoman Macbeth.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise in opposition to this bill. I feel like I've been down this road before. Down it when I was a freshman, and there was a bill that I thought with my gut that it wasn't a good idea, a bill that I didn't think we had given enough time to. It was the job creations bill that gave us 38 studios. I have regretted from that day the vote I took, and I promised myself and a promise to my constituents that I wouldn't vote against my gut if I didn't have the information that I thought I should. And I don't feel we've been given the information like we weren't given the information on that day. I think there's more out there, and I think I owe it to my constituents not to vote for this. We talk about time. Yes, there was a bill by the governor last year, and we didn't vote on that bill. But we've had this bill for 13 days. That didn't even give me time to set up a town meeting in my own town to meet with them. By the time the newspaper would have published it, it didn't give us enough time. I've been contacted by businesses, by manufacturing, by my constituents. On all of my emails and all of my phone calls, they've been no, except one. I can't vote for this. I feel like we have a rush mentality. When we have a rush mentality on this floor, we come up with things like our banking crisis, long before I was here. 38 studios. There were others named, and now this tonight. I spoke about job creation and how all those men and women stood outside thinking this would bring them jobs. And I showed with Pawtucket the $8.1 million that went to a company outside. And a lot of those jobs came from Massachusetts. They don't mind driving from Massachusetts to Pawtucket. We're a small state. They'll make the commute, and it will happen again. I have a question. I don't know if the chairman wants to yield or the sponsor. I heard on the radio the governor stating that we would need, or she would need, more time to figure out the cost, figure out where to put these gantries, figure out what we're going to toll and the amount. But then after that, I heard Ocean State Job Lot saying they had got a paper, I believe it was from the speaker, saying they were told what the costs would be. Can you tell me which one is true? Somebody?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Yes. The governor stated that she needs, or the administration needs, time to figure out how much the tolls are going to be, where the toll gantries are going to be. So we don't have those answers yet. However, on the radio, I heard Ocean State Job Lot say they had been asking for information, and then finally you gave them a paper that answers that.
Yes, I'm going to answer that since I met with Mr. Perlman. There is a document that has proposed toll locations with proposed amounts per gantry. However, what the governor indicated is that's preliminary. They put it together as a guide, but it's subject to an investment grade study and collaboration with the Federal Highway Administration. So that's until the investment grade study takes place. Those are nothing but preliminary, and it's almost, well, it's just preliminary. And to get it right, they actually count cars or trucks over a long period of time, and they get it right scientifically. There is a science to what they do. It's so there's the difference. There is a preliminary list out there. It's available to all, but that's not final, and it's certainly not determinative of exactly what's going to happen. Depending on what the study indicates will determine exactly what the final numbers are. And obviously the intent would be to keep them as low as possible, subject to the study.
Thank you. I hope that doesn't go into my 5 minutes.
No, it does not. It does not.
Where can we find that list? Can somebody tell me where we find that list?
Yes. We have it somewhere. I had a copy, so Mr. Perlman has it.
I'm thinking more of just me, not only me, but the public. If we could at some point let them know where they can find it too.
We have it.
Okay. If
we have it, that will be made available to you before the end of the evening.
Thank you.
And in fact, as soon as we get it,
Thank you.
It's pretty good. Thank you.
I have it. Thank you. So I've heard, and I had spoken to the speaker before about oversight and hoping that I could have DOT certainly in front of our oversight committee. But this legislation puts it into the Department of Administration, and that concerns me greatly because a week ago we had staff from here present to oversight on legislation that we had passed after 38 studios, legislation that puts safeguards in place to make sure this didn't happen again. Part of those legislations was oversight by the Department of Administration. That oversight was not done. And we are going to hopefully have a report in front of oversight of why it wasn't. And here we are again with legislation putting the Department of Administration on oversight. If they didn't do it on such a big issue of 38 studios, I'm concerned they're not going to do it on this. 2 more points. Somebody from DOT approached me, and they were concerned. First of all, the staff that were working there and how it was a negative light on them recently and that it's a mess. And they're saying it's not their fault. They have a budget, and then they're told to do other things with that budget. And they're concerned at DOT that if we have this money and we make it available, they want some type of guarantee from us that it's going to be spent on what we tell them it's going to be spent on, and they're not going to get a call or a visit telling them to spend it on something else. That's a concern for me when we have DOT telling me that. Lastly, this weekend I happened to go down to Rhode Island Design Center. I figured after so many years of never having a bedroom set, I would try to purchase one. While I was there, Ron Cardy walked by me. And I thought a minute, and I asked the manager, could you have him come back? I'd like to ask him where he stands on the tolls. I was surprised. He did come over to me, and he spent half an hour, 45 minutes talking to me on this topic. And he had some advice that he wants me to share, or he said I could share. I told him I was going to speak on the House floor about this. First, he says the trucks that do the delivering in the state of the furniture we buy, they're not going to be tolled by that. So there's no tolls for that. But all the trucks that deliver the furniture to his stores and to his distribution, they're going to be tolled. There'll be tolls on that. And he said that if we think or anyone thinks that cost will not be passed on to the consumer, and I'm going to paraphrase here, these weren't his exact words, but we've got to be fooling ourselves. It will be passed on. And with that, he talked about how difficult it is having a business in Rhode Island that he sells things and having people go over state lines and purchase things and then have those goods come into our state without having a tax on them. And I think in the future, while it doesn't go to this bill, I would hope that the entire House would support a resolution to a bill that 2 of our senators, Reid and Whitehouse, have been trying to get through in Congress. Because from what Ron Cardy says, if they address that, we wouldn't have to be here on the tolls, because by passing one bill in Washington, we would get over $100 million. And the name of that is called the Marketplace Fairness Act. I didn't see that there was a congressional bill.
Representative.
But there is a Senate bill on this, and I hope if that could answer the questions, we wouldn't be here debating, and I hope we all support that in the future. Thank you.
Chairwoman Macbeth.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I appreciate you making this paper available to me. And I know it's rough to draft, but we've heard conversations on this floor tonight about trucks getting off the highways and bypassing the tolls. And I look at what's proposed for Cumberland Interstate.
I'm sorry, Representative, you've gone twice on the bill.
No, I haven't. I've gone once. I had an amendment, and I spoke on my amendment.
Okay, well, he has it marked twice, but we'll give you the benefit of the doubt. Proceed.
Thank you. So we have Interstate 295 with Scott Road and Lee Road. If I'm reading this correctly, there's an exit before that that's a Cumberland exit, and there's an exit after that that's a Cumberland exit. If you get off the first one on Mendon Road, you can bypass the toll. And as a matter of fact, you can probably save time to get over to 95, going Mendon Road to Nate Whipple and through North Attleboro. If you want to get to 495, you'll probably save even more time than staying on the highway, because you'd go Mendon Road to Nate Whipple to Diamond Hill and take it that way. So I then look at the other paper that I was given with the project names of roads that are going to be done. We better add some roads to that, such as Nate Whipple Highway, because we're going to see an increase of trucks in our rural areas going past our schools, past our houses, and past our churches if this passes the way it is. Thank you.